Welcome to the Drop the Mic Wrestling podcast on Boom Broadcasting. It's our third week here. I'm your host, Michael Davis. I know there's been a bigger wrestling presence on Boom Broadcasting in the last couple of weeks. You've had Drop the Mic. You've had Wrestling of Destiny. We've had the Nightcaps. We even have Top Rope Tuesdays on Out Pocket. So what are we missing? I mean, I'm going to bring in Shawn Lucas from the Wrestling of Destiny podcast later on to fill in the gaps for AEW, talk about AEW's first 250 episodes of Dynamite, what we need to see in the next 250. And right now, I'm bringing in Nitram from Four Sides of the Ring to fill in the gaps on the WWE discussion. So, without further ado, don't drop the mic. Let's get started. Super excited to have my guy from Four Sides of the Ring. You guys are just fantastic. Like you, Marcus, like all the guys, you have been supporting everything we've been doing with Boom Broadcasting. You were even on Nightcap yesterday with Mike from Mouth Off with Mike for the NXT post show. Dude, you're all over the place. You're helping support us. Before we get started talking WWE, I just want to say I appreciate you, and I hope you guys continue to grow.
Of course. You know what I'm saying? We're all one big family. I like to always say that you guys are like cousins to the pod, like we're pod cousins. You know what I'm saying? We're just one big family, man. And I'm always going to be here to support. Y'all need me, I always tell y'all, I'm a text message away. Send it. I'll book it. I'll make room. But I'm always here for y'all.
And today is a great example because he had to move stuff around on this Wednesday afternoon on Boom Broadcasting to make everything possible. And I wanted to ask you, man, I mean, you do your own wrestling podcasts. You guys do fantastic work. Really digging Marcus's founders page, by the way. I'm a super big nerd for like newspapers and stuff. You guys are great, but I don't know if you guys have had this question posed. And if you did, link me because for some reason I've been running around and missed it. But I wanted to ask you, there has been a huge summer in storylines on both Raw and SmackDown. You know, Roman Reigns gone from the Bloodline, Rhea Ripley gone from the Judgment Day, resting on their own accord right there. And both of these factions have had to take a new form, with Solo Sikoa being the new tribal chief and asking people to acknowledge him and bringing in new people, while the Judgment Day, like going through Damian Priest's title reign as world champion and then bringing in Liv Morgan to see like what's going on. I mean, they have got themselves in a new transitional period with both of these staples on Raw and SmackDown respectively. I'm just curious because I'm back and forth. I love both these stories. Are you invested in one story more than the other? Where do you stand on this?
So here's my problem with Judgment Day. Okay. And like this is gonna hurt.
Problem?
This is gonna hurt my brothers here because as you know, we're a podcast full of Puerto Ricans. Our champion is Puerto Rican. I'm already tired of Damian Priest.
What? Dude, what are you talking about?
Hear me out. Let me explain this real quick, okay? Damian Priest has this weird identity crisis where he's a face who runs an evil gang, but gets mad that they do evil stuff. It's like almost like Money in the Bank. Damian Priest was with the crimes, and now that he has the title, he's just like, nah, man, I'm out of that life. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I want the Damian Priest that was with the grind, that was with his guys. Like, yo, we're gonna jump this guy just because we don't like him, and now he's just like, you get a title. I mean, the guy's the Oprah of champions. He's like, you get a title shot, and you get a title shot. Oh, you're injured? Well, guess what? When you come back, title shot. Like, I'm already tired of Damian Priest. I really am, and it hurts me because he's Puerto Rican. My champion's Puerto Rican, and I was so happy when he won the title. The Bloodline, though, I will say, just when I was about done with it, they brought me back in. Because Jacob Fatu is everything I needed just to keep watching. And it's so great because you can see where it's all going. Like, Solo pin Cody clean. That was amazing. You know what I mean? I mean, clean. Clean, air quotes. But like Solo did that. And like, he wasn't going to be able to do that without his group. And now I'm waiting for the old group to come back. I know they said Jimmy got cleared, so I'm waiting for that to come, because what's going to happen when he comes and confronts his cousins? That's 1-on-4. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that's going on there that I'm so excited for, because I could see that clear in the future. Even with Rhea Ripley coming back, I don't know what's going on with Judgment Day, because they're all like different. They're like heels and faces all in the same group. It's like they don't want to be friends, but we've known each other for a long time, and our mom said we had to be friends. That's how I feel when I watch them.
So
you know what I mean?
I would say this isn't like Will Ospreay and the Don Callis family. And I'll bring in Shawn to talk more AEW, but I have to make this comparison because Will Ospreay and Don Callis family didn't make sense, because Ospreay was a babyface,
Right.
and he was getting cheered. Like, that made no sense. For Judgment Day, Damian Priest has been changing week by week into that babyface role, especially now that he's going to be wrestling Gunther at SummerSlam, a full-fledged heel. And so I'm like, okay, I can see where there's dissension in the Judgment Day. It's more like, it's not like lazy booking of like, oh, babyface and heels are getting along. It's, oh, Damian Priest is, he's starting to realize, like, yeah, I got the title, but what do I want to be remembered as? Do I want to be remembered as one of the greatest world heavyweight champions, or do I want to be remembered as a coward who needed all the guys and I couldn't stand on my own 2 feet? So I think they're telling the story.
But the problem is that they skipped the part of the story where Damian was only getting wins because of his gang. You see what I'm saying? They do this whole thing of Damian's like, I don't need y'all to win. But there was never a shot where they even helped Damian really win, because Damian's like, I don't need y'all. And then he gets mad when they help him. So I'm just like, they transitioned him way too quick. And because they did that, it kind of doesn't fit. Like everyone wants the Finn Balor turn. And, and I don't know if Judgment Day turns into Balor Club. That's what I'm hoping for. But it's just, I sit there and I'm just like when they won the tag titles and he was like, well, we're tag champions now. Like, why are you mad at Liv? And I was sitting there thinking, like, why are you mad? There's more gold in the Judgment Day. You know what I mean? Like, his character's not fitting for me, man. But he's bought Equa. He's saying Wep on TV. And for that, he gets good points for me. That's all that matters.
Dude, your 4 sides of the ring brothers are going to, watch the show, and they're going to be like, man, we got to disown this guy. Like, hey, I'll vouch for you, even though that was a out-of-pocket take on not an out-of-pocket episode. But another man, I'm just super excited about Bloodline Judgment Day. Both those stories, like, I'm wanting Roman Reigns to come back at SummerSlam. I've been saying that for weeks. And they even said, hey, Solo's going to pin Cody in the 6-man tag, and that's how we're going to ramp this up. And I'm super excited about it. Excited for maybe Priest and Rhea to break off and do their own thing, leaving Finn Balor to be the leader, just like you said. Right. But man, another group I'm really excited about, and Mike hit me with it on the nightcap late at night Monday, as we were, recapping Raw show. After last night, those hard-hitting questions he can throw out at you, even though you watch the same program. We got talking about the Wyatt Sick6 and what it's looking like without Bray Wyatt in the picture after his unfortunate passing last August. But now Uncle Howdy has, decided, hey, let's do this in his memory. And I'm just hoping they're booked properly, that they're booked well. And I'm wondering if you're liking the progression of them currently in a storyline with Chad Gable and the former Creed brothers. I've seen some people online like, why would you put Wyatt Sick6 against a newer team that also needed to be built up? I don't know if Gable and the Creed brothers necessarily need a win to look strong against the Wyatt Sick6.
Right.
I don't know, man. Where are you feeling on this?
So I'm going to start with this. I love everything they're doing. Everything that has to do with the Wyatt Sick6 at this point in time is absolutely incredible. The production, the presentation, everything. Now, as far as people, I know people are like, oh, it's kind of the same stuff Bray's doing. I don't see what's wrong with that. Bray was really good at making characters and dividing his characters. I've always thought he was excellent at that. doing the Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt and doing the Fiend and having them intertwine into one, well, to me was like something special. And Bo is doing such a great job in these presentation of these promo packages that he's doing of showing that he's Bo Dallas, but Uncle Howdy's Uncle Howdy. Oh yeah, dude, you didn't hear Chad Gable announce this? I found out through Chad Gable. It wasn't Mike. Mike never told me nothing. It was Chad Gable on Monday Night Raw who told me Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy, and I stood there in shock.
What?
I'm telling you, I was like, what? But like, even then, like, on Monday we had Bo walk down to the ring. And you could, like, he was still Bo. He wasn't Uncle Howdy. He was Bo Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell that he was in this, like he could have transformed any moment. And that whole presentation was amazing. Now, when it comes down to Chad and the Creeds, I think the Chad story makes sense. He abandoned his family. They're all about family. That's cool. That being said, in kayfabe, hear me out here, Mike, because in kayfabe, this would mean the Creed brothers are the two stupidest wrestlers on the roster. Because why would you want to tag with someone that a group of 6 or 5, a group of 5 are constantly going after to attack? You're outnumbered. You can't beat. I mean, these are psychopaths. They practically murdered your new leader. You know what I mean? In kayfabe, the Creed brothers, people can say, oh, they're fearless. No, they're idiots. Because there's no way Chad was going to come up to me while I'm eating catering and go, y'all want to back me up in the ring against the Wyatt Sick6? I'm like, nah, bro. They almost killed you 3 weeks ago.
I mean, I get your point. Because at that point, you're like, what is this doing? But at the same time, the Creed brothers haven't been featured. I mean, what better way to get your name and face out there? Because if Chad Gable could have convinced the Creed brothers, and this obviously, again, WWE's left this part out. We haven't heard the conversations in the background when Gable's went up to the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile. What if Gable was saying, hey guys, like the Alpha Academy was okay. Like they were a bunch of misfits. I tried to help, but you guys have all the tools physically, mentally to be stars in this business. And I can take you there. And then once this Uncle Howdy stuff started coming up, maybe Chad was like, hey, if we can take these guys down, you guys are made stars. And I think that's the pitch, but we just didn't hear it because they're always having these conversations in the background.
Right. It also, in a sense, though, he also addressed the old Alpha Academy, they did the Xavier Woods. Oh, when they did the spot, oh, he's our friend. And then it was Xavier Woods. So it kind of seems like he asked them last minute to come out. Or maybe the Creeds, like I said, maybe the Creeds were just like, yo, we got your back. We'll jump the spooky men. But then again, that makes you idiots. I don't know. Like Chad left. I don't know if people caught this, but Chad left a whole minute before they left the ring. Like Chad did not care about them at all. Yeah. Chad was out. You know what I mean? So I thought that was great.
Hey man, Chad's going to Chad, okay? Like you can't do anything about that.
I get it. But look, in the long-term aspect, this is where I need this to go, okay? I need old Bloodline versus new Bloodline, 4-on-4. They beat the hell out of each other. Then we get that awesome spot where Roman's in the middle with his 4 or his 3, and you have Solo and his 3. And right when they all step up, you just see the lights dim down. They come out, they obliterate everybody. And I mean, take them all out because families should not be fighting each other. And that's what they stand for. And then you lead to this whole thing where new Bloodline and old Bloodline had to take the best members of each to take out the Wyatts. That's where I wanted to go.
I promise I'm not frozen. But I think he just had a mic drop right there.
Like, I was thinking about it way too hard.
Dude, because that's the one thing that, not the one thing, but like, I hate that we're not going to get Bray versus Roman again.
Right.
So, especially since Roman's, reign began at the hands of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Gosh, that would be awesome. And here's something interesting. Bray Wyatt, whenever he would interact with someone as the Fiend, he would change them. Daniel Bryan, a new attitude, for example. Seth Rollins was another one they interacted with. I mean, Alexa Bliss, of course. I feel like, especially what we saw on Monday with, Bo Dallas laughing in Chad's face saying, "There you are. There you are." It was like, okay, there was the character change. And for them to do that down the road, I mean, this Bloodline thing's going to cook for a while. This is something I hope we draw back to in 3 years, being like, remember that time I came on the show and was like, I'm like, nope, don't remember. I'm not going to let you get that big of a head. Come on now. Man, that would cook, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Whoo. And dude, you and Mike were cooking last night on the nightcap, and I wanted to ask you this. Usually we don't cover NXT on nightcap, and don't want to get too much into what happened last night, but just Ethan Page in general as an NXT champion. Are you buying this, dude? Because you were adamantly against Trick Williams being NXT champion, which I started to see a little bit where you were coming from when I would watch certain matches. But, man, I don't know if I buy Ethan Page as champion.
So do you want to know where I think Ethan Page actually fills in here? And I'm very big on I never thought Trick Williams was a good wrestler. I think he's a great character. I think he's over than most people have been over in NXT history. Like the dude is over. He's over like Enzo Amore was over back in the day, and that's over. You know what I mean? Like this dude's over.
Like a certified G.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Trick's over. I give him that. But he can't wrestle. And he can't. He's not a good wrestler. He's sloppy when he tries to do big spots, and he has to have really good people to make him look really good while they fall for him. So I had this issue with him, and I said that Ethan should have won the first time, and he didn't, and their match was bad. I don't care what no one says. It was a bad match. And the Fatal 4-Way cooked, and everyone did their thing. Even Trick. I give him 100% credit. Everyone did their thing in that Fatal 4-Way. Yeah,
Javon Evans showed
North Carolina.
Let's
go. But the reason why I think Ethan fits is because I said going into that match, I was wondering why the TNA merger is happening. Why is it that we haven't had a TNA champion go for, or, TNA interact with the world champion? And I have to say, I honestly think it's because Trick's not a good wrestler. And you don't want to put someone who's not that good in the ring with another company's best wrestler, per se, and they look better than the outcome is. You know what I'm trying to say? And I think Ethan Page is a guy that he's wrestled all around. He's wrestled pretty much for every brand there is at this point. But he's a guy that if you were to bring in someone like Moose, if you were to bring in somebody like Mustafa Ali, if you were to bring in somebody like Speedball Mike Bailey, he's not a champion, but he might win it. We don't know. It's guys like that if you put in the ring with someone as green as Trick, it's not fair to them to make him look good because that's their world champion. So I honestly thought, in a sense, when it came to that Fatal 4-Way, it had to be Shawn Spears or it had to be Ethan. Because those are two guys that if you throw them in the ring with anyone, they can make those other people look good. So Ethan Page is young, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he has it all. I'm going to be honest, I've always liked him. I think he's great. So hats off to him. Trick's going to still be over. He's going to be chasing the title, which I think that's where he belongs, is chasing the title because he's so over. But as far as putting the championship back on him, wait till he's ready. You know what I mean? And that's just how I feel about him. But Ethan Page, hats off.
Hey, you like Ethan Page a lot more than me. No offense. I mean, we always use the Michaels Jannetty comparison. He's not Jannetty, but I think Ethan Page is the lesser of the tag team, the North, with him and Josh Alexander. But I just have high praise for Josh Alexander, not only as a human, but as a wrestler as well.
Now imagine Josh Alexander comes from TNA to NXT. You got that. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? He's a better fit for that crossover stuff they're doing. I think so.
You might have convinced me for a North versus North title opportunity. I would love that. Love to see Josh Alexander featured. Also interested to see how Stephanie Vaquer is featured now, a member of WWE. Was it a mistake because AEW just had her wrestling Mercedes Moné at AEW's Forbidden Door, and then like less than 2 weeks later, she's announcing she's going to WWE. Like we saw AEW win the Okada sweepstakes. Okada had wrestled on pay-per-view for AEW. We saw AEW win the Will Ospreay sweepstakes, but they didn't win the Stephanie sweepstakes even after feature her in such a big match on pay-per-view 10 days ago. Dude, how big of a loss is this for AEW, and how do you think she fares in WWE moving forward?
I think, and 100%, I'm a big fan of her work. Her, she killed it in CMLL. Always have a hard time saying it fast. But she killed it out there. And that match with Mercedes was really good. I think it benefited her more to go to WWE though, in this aspect, because even though, and I was explaining this to one of my brothers from Four Sides, even though she could have went to AEW and people would have had that glimpse from Forbidden Door, she would have got lost in the shuffle with Dr. Britt Baker coming back, with everything that's going on with Toni Storm, with everything, Mariah Mays and all these women, they have a stacked roster. And I think if she saw that and was like, well, where do I fit in? But you put her in NXT that has a stacked women's division as a locker room leader. She already has, they could send her to the, I don't know the promotion, the New Japan Women's promotion. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, New Japan Strong.
It's strong. Of course it is. But they could send her there, because they've been sending people on and off. So it's like, she's a good name. She's a really good fit. I want to give 100% props to WWE's production team and commentary for when they announced it on Monday night. And they were just like, yeah, she came in and she's a big star from Mexico. And I was like, okay. And then we had the biggest attendance ever in Mexico City, which is like CMML's hometown of stuff. Like you took their star and you outsold them all in 1 week. Like, to me, that was like the best part. I like petty stuff like that. But I think it benefits her more. I really do think it benefits her more. Star power. Because if WWE people don't know who she is, I hate to say it, but toxic fans are going to get real excited for her because they stole her. And new fans who don't care about that are going to be real excited because she can make people like, Kalani Jordan look really good. People like Ariana Grace look really good. People like, and I'm not saying these women are bad, but they're still a little green. But she can be that tune-up for them because she's really good. You know what I'm saying? And let's be honest, they need somebody for Roxanne Perez to really cook with. She's that person.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like, she can't move straight up to the main roster. Like, and that's why I miss a little bit about Black and Gold is like you would have these indies or these well-polished wrestlers, wrestling some of the newer performance center recruits, and you're like getting really good matches. And then it turned into Triple H's own little independent promotion. And I like what we have right now with the NXT version we have, but man, you watch wrestlers and you're like, okay, they're only been here 2 years. Oh my gosh, they have bright future. And they're like, hey, they've only been here 2 years. And everybody grows at their own pace and it's still enjoyable. But I mean, having Stephanie right there to help those people like Kalani Jordan and this one, that one, it'll be pretty good. I'm hoping all of that works out. That'd be super awesome. Real quick before we go, I didn't even have this in the rundown, but we'll bring in Shawn, talk AEW. But you mentioned TNA. I'd be remiss without mentioning Shawn's going to be talking TNA in his Wrestling of Destiny podcast this Saturday morning, 10 a.m. We mentioned the WWE and TNA crossover. Who do you think from WWE or TNA? Who do you think from WWE comes over to make an appearance at Slammiversary this weekend?
Two names
okay.
here that I'm willing to put money on. I'm putting money on this. With the suspension, Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He redefined himself in TNA. That's where, you know, he really redefined himself. And then, of course, you got the John Cena of TNA himself, AJ Styles, who just did a stint in Japan. So if it's not one of them, I don't know who you would send. I really don't. But it has to be one of them. And it, like, people could say, oh, it has to be AJ. I think sending Drew would be smart. I think if you send Drew there and Drew does this whole thing like, you guys appreciate me. They don't appreciate me over there. And he does 1 or 2 matches, gets a title shot eventually or whatever in this little crossover. And then, you know, you have this like little storyline where Adam Pearce is kind of getting like, yo, why is our guy being big over there kind of stuff. I think that's where they should go with that. I think Drew's the perfect fit. But just because he's, like I said, he's the Johnson of TNA, send AJ Styles over there one last time. Let me get it one last time.
You bring in the waterworks, man. Dude, that is that's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. Oh my good. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see AJ Drew. Those are the obvious choices. That's great. And then Ethan Page, if we can get a crossover there, that would be pretty cool as well. But yeah, you've been seeing scrolling on the bottom our YouTube. We're doing a giveaway, EA Sports College Football 25 to our first 500 subscribers. So you can follow us on Boom Broadcasting. If you're joining us from the Four Sides of the Ring community, they do incredible work. Go follow their page, Four Sides of the Ring. They do phenomenal work. And me and Mike are coming back for the 3-count trivia titles. Those will be ours. It will be displayed on my bookshelf right behind me, probably underneath that undisputed WWE Championship with the custom Drop the Mic nameplate that was gifted to me by one of our viewers. Shout out to Jason, my friend right there. Yeah, that 3-count trivia is going to go really nice right there. I'll find another place for my app clock.
I don't know. Y'all dropped the ball in the semifinals last time, so
Whoa, are we talking about dropping the ball, or are we talking about this little cheating number that happened? I mean, come on.
Y'all dropped the ball.
At their partner like this. I mean, come on, man.
Y'all didn't get our Truth theme song. That is on y'all. Okay, let the world know the "What's Up" song that has very specific, that R-Truth sings every time was missed. That cost y'all the game.
Back then, R-Truth wasn't featured much on TV. That's what cost us was that. But you know what? It's okay. We're getting a rematch. We're going to make it through. And the main event Mike's will be in the main event, competing and winning for the 3-count trivia. And if you guys want to lose to myself and Mike or anyone else in the bracket because you're not winning the title and you're a content creator, go hit up my guy, figure out how you can be a part of this tournament and lose to me and Mike. But I'm about to let Nitram go. Is there anything else people should be looking out for with Four Sides of the Ring?
Yeah, you know, Four Sides of the Ring, we drop episodes. We go live every Thursday now. I'm so used to saying we drop episodes every Friday. We go live every Thursday now. We got Opinionated. We're wrapping up season 1 of Opinionated. So we got another episode, I believe, dropping next week. And then what else do we got going on? We got pre-signups for 3-count trivia. Big announcement here. Ready for this? You remember the title from last year?
Yeah.
Well, here's the big news. We decided to make a bigger, better title. And it is in the works, but that's all I can say about it right now. So this title will be the first title to be held by this season 2 winner. Not even Championship Culture would have had to hold this title unless they repeat. That's crazy.
They're not going to repeat. Can you send me the measurements of this tile? I need to make sure my shelf is adjusted for it right here. That's exciting. Can't wait to bring it home. And me and Mike can keep switching it off. Maybe do joint custody. One gets it on 1 week, the other gets it the other week. But Nitram, thank you so much for joining us. Right now, I've been wearing an AEW shirt the entire time. I'm going to bring in Shawn from Wrestling of Destiny Podcast Talk AEW right now on Drop the Mic. Thank you so much to Nitram from Forward Sides of the Ring hopping in, talk some WWE just then. And you notice I was wearing an AEW shirt throughout this episode. Well, that's because tonight is the 250th episode of AEW Dynamite, and they have made this quite a big deal. So we will be talking some AEW Dynamite, the 250, reminiscing on what was happening. But I Nitram from Four Sides of the Ring, and I have from Wrestling of Destiny. You see him on Out Pocket. You see him on Drop the Mic. You've seen him through It Stinks. And I'm not talking about his armpits. I'm talking about his TV show review that drops on Thursday morning. So it will be available tomorrow morning. He does incredible work. He's got the 10 a.m. time slot down pat. It's Shawn Lucas. And Shawn, I was really blown away by AEW Dynamite last week in Calgary when Bryan Danielson was able to win the men's side of the Owen Hart Cup. And it means that not Hangman Page. Hangman Page isn't getting his revenge on Swerve. It's going to be Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, obviously, towards the end of his career. Was this the right call to give Bryan Danielson the main event spot at Wembley? And do you think there's any chance Danielson holds a world title? Because we did see Sting finally win the tag titles as he was, retiring. Do you think it's going to be the same situation for Bryan Danielson?
Well, back on my show last week on WOD, I gave that AEW show the best grade out of all the last week's shows, the A. And this was one reason why. By not letting Hangman win, watching it, I really thought Hangman was going to win this match because that's typical AEW booking. But letting Bryan Danielson win was pretty much a different booking style for them. And I think it sets up a good match because now you got a hot Swerve that me right now is probably one of the top tier guys in AEW going against Bryan Danielson, who's on his way out the door, that you could probably have Bryan Danielson work with Swerve to put on a good 5-star match. I mean, Bryan Danielson, whenever he's in the ring, you see great matches. It's going to be a lot of submission, great storytelling, roller coaster ride. So I think this is a good match. If I was AEW booking, I would say, if not this match, the next time him and Swerve go against each other, give him a title run on the way out for what he's done, because he's brought value since leaving WWE to come to AEW. He's another one of those guys who brought value to the company and brought eyes from WWE to AEW. So I would say if you don't do it at this one, he deserves one on the way out the door.
Man, that would be awesome. A well-deserved moment. I mean, of course, he's never going to top WrestleMania 30 in terms of moments. Like that was the pinnacle of the career. Not any slight on Bryan Danielson at all, but like you couldn't get better than the confetti fall in that great underdog story that he told.
Great story to the WWE told.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that was even before the Triple H era. Like, that's how good it was.
And that kind of makes you wonder that back during that era that Vince could tell good stories if he got behind who the people wanted him to get behind.
And other times we were left with Max Caster dressing up as one of Bobby Lashley's sisters. But I digress. Oh man, yeah. Let's move on because that can take us down a weird rabbit hole.
Very weird one.
And this is it feels like a nightcap right here. I was on Mouthing Off with Mike's nightcap for BoomBroadcasting on Monday night. That was so much fun. That was fantastic. That was so enjoyable. Absolutely loved it. Record-breaking numbers as of Monday night. Over 300 people watching while we live streamed, and it was like, hey, this is legit. What BoomBroadcasting is doing is legit. So that's why you should subscribe to the BoomBroadcasting YouTube channel so you don't miss Drop the Mic or Wrestling of Destiny or Nightcap or several other of our content right here, but I was really upset about Will Ospreay not wrestling Swerve at Wembley. And I think now why they chose not to is they couldn't have Will Ospreay losing the main event at Wembley just yet. I feel like they want to keep this Swerve title run going. And that's why they put Bryan Danielson in that spot to help legitimize the reign of Swerve.
Right. And that'll be a good quality win. You know, I said about Damian, you know, he needed a good quality win, and he got it with over Seth to them. But that'd be a good quality win on his title reign where you could go back and look and say, this guy was a good champion. He knocked off some good people during his run.
Man, it's going to be awesome. But I mean, the women's side of the Owen Hart Cup with Mariah May beating Willow Nightingale, I was 50-50. I'm like, okay, we've seen this before where somebody goes through a stablemate or an ally to get to the champion. Willow Nightingale just dropped the TBS title to Mercedes Moné. She's on fire right now as Willow Nightingale. And so I'm like, okay, maybe she wins. But then Mariah May won. And I was like, okay, my prediction stood the test of time. We can go back and clip it, whatnot. And then I was like, okay, me and my dad were talking. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And this conversation happens within 3 minutes of, okay, you know, you build it up, kind of like Adam Cole MJF, have Mariah May lose to Toni Storm or vice versa at Wembley, and then whoever loses turns on them the following Dynamite. No, that's not what happened. Mariah May wasted no time bloodying Toni Storm, Timeless Tony, and Timeless Tony did not watch for the shoe. And I was like, wow. My jaw dropped, Shawn. But did they do this too early, or was this the right time to do it? Because I've been back and forth all week on that.
They did it at the right time. Okay. Going when I saw this match as the main event, when you open up with Danielson and Hangman Page, and your main event is Willow Nightingale and Mariah May, you felt that Mariah May was going over. I felt it. My daughter was a big Willow Nightingale fan, and I told her, Mariah May is going over because that's the bigger story. They did it at the right time. Hats off to Timeless Tony. You know, if you watch the show, Drop the Mic WOD, I'm a big Timeless Tony fan. She sold it as nobody's business, that beat down. And now you set up a good chance for Mariah May to go to London, win the title, have a quick run, transition back to Timeless Tony within the next 2-3 months. But they did good, great storytelling. And I can always say about AEW, storytelling is one of the things that they don't do the best of. But then when they do the great part of doing it, you get what you got on Dynamite last week with that. So not too early. I think it was just perfect timing. And I think you got something building to All In now.
And I'd be remiss without mentioning Shawn did say doo-doo. If you are listening, I did catch that every time, whether I'm recording or whether I'm out at Walmart or on the phone or, you know, just at dinner and somebody says you do that. I was like, yeah, he said doo-doo. I mean, this is a rare form for me on a Wednesday afternoon. Almost feel like I am on the nightcap.
Like the nightcap.
Oh, man. I got to reel it in. But this is Drop the Mic. We're not going to drop the mic. You're going to get all of this recorded for your viewing pleasure on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. You mentioned the criticism of what AEW doesn't do well. Right. And they're celebrating 250 episodes. We're going to preview a little bit what happens tonight. But, I mean, what do you think they have done well over these first 250 episodes of Dynamite? Like, what common theme do they do well? Do you have a favorite moment? Do you have a favorite memory from what AEW's done?
I have quite a few for AEW. You know, one that sticks out to me, and a lot of people now are probably going to look at me and give me the thumbs down in the comment box. Chris Jericho, being able to keep reinventing himself. The Learning Tree, hi guys, being able to keep reinventing himself. That's one of the things they do right. FTR's arrival, you know, big FTR guy. I enjoyed that. MJF becoming the guy of AEW. He pretty much took over and became the guy at the top heel for AEW. Brody Lee versus Cody match, I go back and watch that all the time. I just think that night right there, Cody showed exactly what a babyface supposed to do by selling everything that Brody Lee hit him with. Broken Matt Hardy running over Sammy Guevara with the golf cart. That's something that's timeless that you can't get back. And Darby Allin, John Moxley, a sanctioned match. Brian Mills last week turned on Thomas Tony Storm. That was a high point for me.
Oh wow!
So it's just been a lot of high points that they have done over the years that I'm satisfied with.
I love how you like brought that full circle where you're like mentioning, the early days. I mean, Chris Jericho reinvented himself the very first Dynamite episode with the Inner Circle. Jericho had never led a stable. And again, people can throw the thumbs down, but man, thumbs up to Chris Jericho. Like whether it was the Inner Circle, whether it was Jericho Appreciation Society, whether it's the Learning Tree. Hey guys. After 30 years in the wrestling business, I gotta say, Drop the Mic is one of the best wrestling podcasts on a Wednesday afternoon. Thanks, guys. That message was not brought to you by Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree, but I did draw inspiration from a guy who constantly reinvents himself. It's been awesome. You mentioned Brody Lee and the impact. One of my favorite moments was Brody Lee. And this is for worse, situation, of course, but like what they did for a tribute show for Brody Lee.
Great.
I mean, if I had to choose between that tribute show versus him still being with us, it's no contest, right?
Right.
But I feel like they made the family feel special.
They did.
They made their friends feel special. And of course, just talking to Wyatt Sick6 with Nitram, Eric Rowan, Eric Redbeard, seeing him on AEW during that tribute show, it seemed very therapeutic for a lot of people. Of course, you're always going to have your exploding barbed wire death matches.
Right.
That a couple of my friends still want AEW to try a second hand at. You'll have those, but overall, AEW's done great. I mean, Drop the Mic. I mean, the whole reason Drop the Mic became a thing was back in 2021, like AEW All In or All Out as Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk's debut match. Like all of that was like, whoa, like wrestling's actually in a boom period right now. Let's do something with this. And I started Drop the Mic on literally my cell phone. It was a really bad headset that I was using. I mean, every like third word was muffled, choppy, going on to using video, using StreamYard to provide it for that sports platform I was on, to now being on our own channel with Boom Broadcasting. I mean, just the amount of growth versus, not only for the podcast, but also, AEW in that time frame it's been really special to see. I never thought they would sell out Wembley like they did. And they did. I mean, that was a huge statement for AEW. And Shawn, I don't know, over these next 250 episodes, where does AEW go from here? Where can they grow?
Well, AEW's done good. When they came out, you talk about the perfect storm. That was the perfect storm. A lot of us WWE fans were getting fed up with WWE. The WWE style, the WWE booking. Here comes Cody, the Bucks, and Hangman. Well, Cody, Bucks, and Kenny Omega with something new. They brought in Jericho. And then it just kept growing. And it gave us an outlet to where we started shifting more to AEW from WWE. But if your AEW steals some things, you need to clean up, move it on into the next 250. And with that, I would say number one is the biggest thing to me that WWE gets right and AEW don't get right. Storytelling. You gotta get WWE right now under Triple H has great storytelling. AEW can give you that, but it feels like everything is still rushed. Another thing I want to see AEW do is back the EVPs out a little bit. When they first brought it on, I was a good fan of the Bucks and Omega. I liked them as EVPs, Cody as EVP. And I mean, I know they don't have a lot of play like they did when they first started, but just back them out a little bit. And I think you'll see some different things change with some booking. My next thing I got is AEW needs an app to watch their premium live events. WWE showed everybody when they started on network going to Peacock, on the way to Netflix, that you can give out premium live events for $5.99 that people will watch. I think that's AEW's big downfall. Now, I will watch it. Mike will watch it. My wife might watch it. Everybody on Boom Broadcast will watch it because we're fans of professional wrestling. So we don't mind spending $50. But for that normal fan who doesn't watch AEW, if you put it on a Peacock or Netflix or a Hulu app, they got it. They may tune in to see what they're doing. So that would be some of the things I would encourage them to work on as they keep going on down the road.
Man, that would be awesome for AEW to have an online platform. That's the only thing missing right now. And if this was back in the 90s, I mean, TNT is a great home, right? And I'm not dissing that. I'm not saying to leave the cable, but times are changing. And
they are.
I sat in a broadcasting class taught by the great Dr. Aycock, and he is phenomenal. He's been in the business for so many years, but he has his hand on where the business is going and where the industry is going, TV, internet, radio, music, streaming, all of it. Right. And he was like, we're moving away from TV ratings actually matter. And we're moving to where subscriptions to streaming services matter. And I was like, you know what? He's onto something. Because, I mean, and this is how the YouTube channel is thriving right now for Boom Broadcasting is like, hey, you know, we're not on a certain time slot to where that's the only time you can watch it. Now you can watch all of our shows on demand, even our live streams. I mean, it works. And so AEW streaming service to where we could watch, you know, previous Dynamites and reflect on these great moments and memories, to have some documentaries on there to, I mean, basically like copy WWE with how you did for the Owen Hart Cup, giving the winners the big title match. Copy it, their homework just like that. Just change the words around so the teacher don't notice. That's what I want from AEW. Totally disagree about the EVPs though. I love them. That's what makes them different. Do not change the EVPs. And the fact that I hate them on the screen right now and I'm laughing at the same time means it is working. What I know will work tonight, but I wish they had done it any other night. And granted, it is a big night. AEW Dynamite 250. Maybe they are trying to, you know, get the ratings up on TNT, and that's why they're doing this. But why would you, on live free television, put your 4 best guys up against each other in first time matchups? And this is a big gap. This is almost as big of a gaffe as WCW putting Goldberg's world title match on live free TV rather than capitalizing on a pay-per-view. I feel like Will Ospreay versus MJF for international titles is going to be great. Put it on pay-per-view. I feel like Swerve Strickland versus Kazuchika Okada would be fantastic. Put it on pay-per-view. You could have done literally anything else for Dynamite 250 and people will have watched. Why ruin these first-time matchups you could have built towards a pay-per-view? I just don't know.
I don't know neither, Mike. And I'm like you. I remember watching WCW tonight when Goldberg beat Hollywood Hogan for the title on TNT. And I remember saying tonight as a high school student, telling my age now, why would you not save this for Starrcade? This was Starrcade bound. Keep letting Goldberg roll through it. Give him the Starrcade, do it on that night, make a killing in buyouts with TV sales, everything, ticket sales. But they didn't. And, you know, now WCW is gone. But with AEW, why would you give this away? These type of matches, I don't understand. And I wanted to go back, and I did some research when I saw it. Raw, I said, let me see what they did on Raw 1000, because I remember the episode. Besides, I don't remember the episode. I went back and looked at the matches. This was the card for Raw 1000. Opening match, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, and Sin Cara versus Alberto Del Rio, Chris Jericho, and Dolph Ziggler. That was a 4-minute match. Brodus Clay, known as Tyrus now, versus Jack Swagger, 16-second match. Miz versus Christian for the IC title. That was kind of the big highlight of the night, mid-card match, around about that 9:45 hour. 7 minutes, 38 seconds. Then you had Lita with a bunch of legends. They did the legend match versus Heath Slater, minute 35. The main event that night was Cena versus Punk. Cena won DQ, cashed his Money in the Bank. That was 11-minute, 14-second match.
Mm.
The only match you could really say would have been a pay-per-view quality match on Raw 1000, that would have a big episode where they brought all these superstars back for that one night, would be Cena and Punk. Dolph and Christian and Miz, you would probably saw that on the SmackDown or Raw on any other night. That was the only main event that you would see on a premium live event. So AEW, you can do like WWE, have a little more watered down show, have one big match, and then just have some filler matches and still have a big celebration. I don't know why they done it. I think now when you run these matches on premium live events, it's going to kill the buzz because you can be like, we just saw it on TNT 3-4 months ago, a year ago.
And to be fair, we had already seen Cena and Punk. Like
Right.
that's my biggest gripe is we haven't seen Ospreay MJF. We haven't seen Swerve Okada. I mean, that's the whole point. If we had already seen it, like we had saw CM Punk and John Cena, be like, oh, great. Like we get pay-per-view quality match on Weekly Show. Since it is the first time all these guys, and literally their 4 best guys. I mean,
right.
You can look at the entire roster. Their 4 best guys are Okada, Swerve, MJF, Ospreay. And it's like, man, that would have been great at Wembley. That would have been great at All Out.
Chicago,
anywhere. Why give it away now? I don't like it. I will enjoy the show tonight, I'm sure. Yes. Especially as more happens, but man, just a missed opportunity here. And I don't want you guys to miss the opportunity to catch Wrestling of Destiny, that podcast, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. It's weird. Like Drop the Mic gets the midweek eval, reflecting on Dynamite from a week ago, previewing Dynamite tonight, and then talking about whatever happened between SmackDown and Raw. Shawn gets the whole week. Like he gets Raw, NXT, SmackDown, Dynamite, TNA, NW. He covers it all. I don't know how this man does it to have the time to watch everything, have the time to also watch TV shows and do his It Stinks episode on Thursday mornings, and then record the Wrestling of Destiny podcast. But dude is doing it. He's also doing Grit and Grind. Like he is above and beyond right now. Couldn't be doing and couldn't be growing Boom Broadcasting without this man. So go follow him on his Twitter right there. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go watch some of his stuff. His videos are already out, and they're in pretty high demand. So appreciate you, Shawn. Appreciate Nitram from 4 Sides of the Ring hopping on earlier. Thank you guys, everyone who tuned in today for Drop the Mic, everyone who's been supporting Boom Broadcasting, what we've been doing. We're only on our 3rd week. We're well over 200 subscribers right now, over that 250 mark. And we'll continue to keep growing because we're doing the EA College Football 25 giveaway to one of our first 500 subscribers. So that is fantastic. Subscribe so you are a part of that giveaway. And you'll be able to watch more Drop the Mic episodes this year. In addition, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And most of all, above all else, thank you. Thank you for spending your Wednesday with us on Drop the Mic. We have to get out of here. Whatever you do, don't drop the mic, and we will see you back here for Drop the Mic next week.